Greetings. This is Arvat McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens. As a very young person, I always felt that I carried the weight of the world on my shoulders, having to make grown-up decisions in order to survive a life marked with physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. While my face was smiling on the outside, on the inside, I always secretly cried and felt miserable. However, over the years, I learned some gems that helped to turn my life around. I now get to live the life of my dreams, filled with love, travel, and wonderment. And I am absolutely passionate about sharing what I have learned with you. If you want to live your best life, tune in each week as I, along with some amazing guests, share these life-changing gems with you. Inspired to be more, do more, have more. Greetings. As we continue to evolve during these trying times, it is our hope that you will continue to tap into the highest version of yourself so that you may lead the happiest, the most authentic, and peaceful lives possible.
We here at Speak, the Universe Listens, we are here as a resource for you. Be comfortable reaching out, knowing that we're here to help bring that peace wherever it might be needed, to bring that love wherever it might be needed. Be safe.
Greetings, and welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. Today's topic is motivation enough? And I have my favorite brother. I shouldn't say my favorite because I do have 3 brothers, but this is my favorite brother to talk to on Speak, the Universe Listens.
Fair enough. But this is my favorite sister.
So, hey, how are you?
I am doing wonderfully.
Good. So the topic is motivation enough. So we do, a lot of times we hear some of the best motivational speakers and we get pumped up and we run out of there, those conferences or those events, and we are ready to rock and roll.
Yes.
How have your experiences been with motivational speakers?
It feels great.
Mm-hmm.
Feels great, and which means it does serve a purpose for me. So it feels great. And a lot of times I might get out of there, and if I don't take action right away, I'll put it off, and I can put it off, and I can put it off. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not a whole lot of things that take place unless I do it right away. You gotta get motivated enough to just say, I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah. So who have been some of your favorite motivational speakers?
I would say Tony Robbins is really my top, even though I haven't been to a live event with him, just listening to him on audio, on tapes. As for any of you that don't know what that is, so I think I have some of his tapes, I have his CDs, I have MP3s from him, and so I would say he's probably my favorite. But there have been some others along the way. Joe Stump for me, he's more real estate related type of stuff, but he's one of my favorite motivational speakers as well. And sometimes just going to listen to some of them, they give so much action steps that you can take that is almost like overwhelming.
Okay.
And it's just where did I begin? You get I remember the very first one I went to, it was like I had all these notes and all this. I was just overwhelmed and became paralyzed and did nothing.
Yeah. I also have that background of motivational speakers and getting pumped up, and each speaker that I went to, I've always taken something away from whatever they're saying. It's like little pieces, little jewels that you'll find, and you can take something away from everybody, especially the best speakers. And I really can't even remember now who my favorites were, but of course Tony Robbins was one of my favorites, probably was my favorite. But I used to go listen to motivational speakers all the time. also lots of reading motivational books and, like you say, listening to tapes and CDs and videos, DVDs, and
YouTube, podcast.
Yeah, so.
But was the motivation enough? I don't believe motivation is enough because there's things throughout the day that can motivate us. And it's like, after that, then what? As quick as you get motivated by something, as quick as it can be gone.
Yeah, that is so true. So I want you all to know that's Rodney Boyd. He's actually one of our producers, and I guess this topic has really spiked. Please jumping right in. Looks like he's a little camera shy right now. Well, yeah, that's a good question. Is motivation enough? Because we do happen to, we'll get this information, and you can be a follower of a particular person, but your life changes very little.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so even if, like you said, if you're a follower, you keep going back and you keep getting more. And so sometimes with motivation, it's just, it's not, it doesn't last as long as, as a transformation could last.
Right.
And I'm someone that can get motivated by things easily. Like, I can hear a nice story and be like, wow, that was great. Like, that motivated me a little. That made me think about some things differently. But now what? I still have to, it's going that fast.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is the thing that needs to happen? So you get the information, you get pumped up. What needs to happen in order for it to now be enough, or in order for it to play into your life? Not just a one-time thing, but it's something that you continuously do.
I thought Rodney was about to take over. But what I think needs to really take place is it needs to become an internal change. There's got to be something that changes us internally. And the motivation still helps because it gets us to see things maybe a little differently. It gets to us to expand our vision just a little bit more and just be, okay, I could see that over there just a little bit better. And so it's a good piece to kind of get us started, but we got to change and see ourselves differently internally.
Right.
To connect to that higher self.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I would say. You had any comments on that?
That's exactly what I would say too. You got to make it about you, and put your own personal thing on it.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that happens a lot of times when we talk about the whole thing of change, like we literally have to change something within inside of ourselves. We can't just be inspired or motivated. Mm-hmm. That doesn't change us.
Right.
So the motivation is like that spark. But then you still have to change in your brain. You still have to change in your physical body. You have to change everything about you in order to keep it, whatever that thing is, going.
Right. Yeah. You have to, like I said, the motivation I think helps because it allows you to see a little further, but you have to begin to see your value internally is different. Mm-hmm. And to begin to see, I think, the connectivity between you and the universe itself. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise you don't speak to the universe. Right. So you have to understand you have the value, you have the worth enough so that you can now speak to the universe, knowing that the universe will listen.
Right. Because it seems like you actually said it. You say that you take so many notes and so many things, and then you're paralyzed. And to me, the motivation, like I said, it does serve a purpose because it does give you that spark. And like you said, it helps you to see things a little differently. But what's not happening is, or I should say what happens with the motivation is that it's something outside of you because you have all these things you have to do. I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do this. And if I follow these things, then I can get this. And so a lot of people think, for example, if you want to be a successful business owner, that there's a plan that you have to follow. Like you have to do a business plan, and I don't even know the steps anymore. But it's like steps, and people think, if you're not smart enough, you can't be a successful business owner, or if you don't have enough capital, you can't be a successful business owner, or if you don't know the right people, or if you can't market well, or if you can't, what's the word when they go out and meet people and
Network.
You
Yeah.
don't network well. Just so many things people think you have to do in order to have a successful business.
Yeah, you have to be outgoing.
Yes.
Those are the things we telling ourselves to scare us away from the change.
Yes.
I believe.
That's exactly right. It scares you away. It actually starts putting boundaries. Like,
Right.
if you're not this type of person, then you can't do blank.
Right. Yeah, so I'm not as outgoing as you are, Vince, so I guess I can't do it. I don't know how to produce like you, Rodney. So
I've had people say that, Rodney, you good. You can go somewhere and talk to anybody in the room and things like that. And I just don't. I can't do that. I'm like, you can do that. Just go talk to them. Like, it's things we tell ourselves that puts limits on us.
Yeah, and I think that there's nothing wrong with doing the things, but it's something outside of yourself. And whenever you think the thing is outside of yourself, you already kind of put some boundaries,
Exactly.
some blocks to it. So it's a matter of bringing stuff in, as you say, internally. And I've had people tell me, if you want to have a good business, you have to do A, B, and C. And I said, no, you don't. And they're like, yes, you do. If you want a good business, you have to do A, B, and C. And I'm like, no, you don't. They're like, yes, you do. You got to have a business plan, because if you don't have a business plan, this, then, and you got to, And I'm like, no, you do not have to do that. And they will beat me down. I said, okay, when you started your businesses, is that what you did? I never started a business. And I'm like, okay, well, I've started several businesses, and they've been successful, and I didn't do any of that. So no, you do not have to do those things, but you do have to make it come from the inside. It has to be something internal. And so a lot of times, like, I love motivational speakers, and I love, that getting that spark, like, woo! It's like an adrenaline boost or whatever. But the truth is, if you don't change on the inside.
And just not to backtrack too much here, but as you were talking about starting the business, I can remember people telling me, you got to work hard, you got to work all the time, you just got to think, sleep, whatever, just with business. And so I remember I used to work weekends all the time. And so one day I decided I was going to make business cards to say weekends by appointment only. So my office hours was on it Monday through Friday. And so I was scared to get that first card out, thinking, and even my broker back then, because I'm in real estate sales, so my broker then was like, Scott, you don't want to do that. You're cutting out all of your business. But when I started giving the cards out, telling people I didn't work weekends, my volume of business went higher. Because what took place, it was not about the thing that I was doing. I changed my value inside. And so I increased my own internal value. And by me increasing my internal value, other people began to feel a different value from me as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good story, and that's what you need to put in your book. You writing a book?
Hadn't thought about it.
Yes, that's exactly how it works. And so a lot of times, the things that we talk about on this podcast is we're really saying the same thing every week, pretty much. And we're basically saying you have to feel your connection to the source. And once you feel that connection, realize you're connected to everything. And then you have to visualize the things that you want. See yourself there. Feel it. And spend time practicing that every day. And it sounds like, what, magic? It sounds like magic, but it's the secret to changing on the inside. Because the more you see yourself doing that thing, the more it becomes that. And we have to make sure we're seeing what we want to happen. Because a lot of times, if you hear business owners say things like, and I don't know how we got on business, because this can be in any part of your life, but business is a good example. So I hear a lot of people in business saying things like, my customers don't want to pay me, or my customers can't afford my services, or I don't have enough customers, or, so it's like you're speaking into what you don't want.
Right.
And so we want to make sure we're not speaking what we don't want. We want to speak what we do want.
Right.
And so a lot of times we give so much attention to what is or what has been that we keep ourselves stuck in that space of what is or what has been. If you think about Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, they won't think, you know what kind of circumstances they were in. But they had to think of something beyond that. And the more they thought about that dream, they were able to become that dream.
So I think it boils down to how you see yourself. They seen themselves as more than their circumstance.
And they had a vision for something way bigger than what their current reality said was possible.
Right.
And, and one of the strengths there as well is they spoke to that vision. They began to speak to that vision and live from it. They embodied the vision itself. And so it was like they became one with it before it actually showed up for them. It showed up for them here.
Right.
It showed up for them here. And so they became one with it. And once when two or more come together.
I like that, Scott. One and two.
Two or more come together. Christ is there, and things begin to happen. All things become possible. And so we often forget that is the case. We think we gotta find something outside of us. Come help me.
Right.
Come help me. But it's more simple than that.
Right.
And it's just internally. And so as we make that connection and we make it for ourselves, we also begin to see others as having that connection as well. And so now we're living from a place that's bigger than where our past has taken us.
Exactly. Yeah, so actually I think we're out of time. I'm so glad you joined in, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so yes, exactly. Make sure, go see motivational speakers if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes they give you that boost that you need to get started. But remember that everything that you want in this world comes from within and radiates outward, and it's not the other way around. So, any closing comments,
Yeah, that
guys?
was just well said right here.
All right.
Well said.
All right. Until next time, I'm Arvat. Don't forget to check out my website at arvatmcclain.com. Click the subscribe button below and make as many comments as you want, guys, down below, because we love hearing from you.
Definitely.
And thank you for joining us, Scott and Rodney.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.